Iran, 1979. 52 Americans are captured and held hostage by the revolutionary government of Ayatollah Khomeini. A national nightmare begins as all manner of diplomatic efforts to free them fail. The following spring, President Carter orders a daring raid by the U.S. military, which ends disastrously. 8 Americans are killed in a crash and fire in the Iranian desert. A C-130 and several helicopters worth millions are lost. A Pentagon analysis later identifies a jumbled command structure and major differences in inter-service operating procedures as the primary reasons leading up to the fiasco on the desert landing zone. Since that report, a new operating structure has been developed in anticipation of this type of emergency in the near future. The Reagan administration solution is called JSOC, for Joint Special Operations Command, a streamlined force consisting of Army Green Berets and Rangers, Navy SEALs, and other military units. The most elite of those groups, however, is a little-known unit of the Air Force called the Combat Control Team. They go in first, anywhere in the world, in order to guide in the main force. At McChord Air Force Base, Washington, CNN got an exclusive look at a combat control team in action, participating in a very realistic exercise closely matching the current world situation. The mission, evacuate American civilians and military advisors from a simulated African desert country where hostile forces are closing in from all directions. The combat control team members begin preparations immediately. These elite airmen are all volunteers. They average 2 years of college and are fully qualified air traffic controllers, capable of guiding any kind of aircraft in bad weather and darkness to a landing zone, even in hot combat situations. They are all qualified parachutists and scuba divers and are required to be able to ski, mountain climb, and skydive. Moreover, they are all trained in small arms, demolitions, even meteorology. Of 600,000 men in the Air Force, only 350 are combat controllers. In the air, the team members and this reporter don the heavy parachutes and equipment in preparation for the jump. The jump door is opened, letting in the hurricane-like 140-mile-an-hour wind blast. Below is the desolate, unmarked drop zone, bisected by an asphalt landing strip and covered with rocks and sagebrush. The ground winds are gusting at over 10 miles an hour, perhaps more. There is no smoke to determine the wind direction. As in combat, the C-130 will make only one pass. Unlike other paratroopers, the combat controllers jump very close together so as to cover as little ground space as possible. This is an extremely hazardous technique because of the possibility of mid-air entanglements and is done by only the most skilled of jumpers. Assembling quickly, the airmen secure the area and clear in the C-130 carrying the balance of the combat control team. The big Hercules rumbles in toward the short, bare asphalt strip. It purposely slams down hard, dissipating energy while its turboprops wail in reverse. It stops in less than 2,000 feet, taxis around quickly, and opens its ramp. The team's vehicles roll out and head for a hilltop to set up a sophisticated electronic navigation device called a TACAN, along with the long-range radios in the communications jeep. The C-130, meanwhile, wastes no time in leaving the desolate strip immediately, as it would on a real mission. Less than an hour later, 3 more C-130s are guided in by the combat controllers. They are carrying 248 Army Rangers who parachute into a nearby drop zone to establish a blocking position to halt simulated hostile forces. The controllers put them down precisely on target. At nightfall, the team members patrol the hills around the airstrip in order to maintain security until the arrival of the rescue force of 3 C-130s. Moments before the airplanes arrive, the combat controllers streak down the runway with their motorcycles, turning on the battery-operated lights that they had in place earlier. The transports approach one by one in the blackness, touch down and taxi up quickly. As the last transport arrives, the CCT loads aboard the aircraft, mission accomplished. The effectiveness of the newly organized U.S. Special Operations Forces may be tested on an abandoned airfield like this one in some distant land, trying to save American lives. From Yakima, Washington, this is Chuck DeCaro, CNN, on special assignment.